Hello everybody, welcome back to another session of the Hoppery. My name is Mark Starr and today is Friday. So I'm going to go ahead and round out my three-part series this week, which is the smoked beer series. On Monday we did the O'Fallon Whiskey Barrel Smoked Porter, and then on Wednesday we did the Alaskan Smoked Porter. And so for Friday, which is today, I wanted to save one of the, I guess the better ones for last. And by better ones I mean, one of the, I guess, harder to get. So this is a bottle of the Surly Smoke. It is a smoked Baltic Porter, which if you're not familiar with Baltic Porters, they are a little bit bigger version of a regular porter. In the old days they used to, much like India Pale Ales and Imperial Stouts, they used to brew them a little bit stronger so that they could withstand boat rides through the Baltic Sea. Therefore they called them Baltic Porters. But a lot of folks really kind of are drawn to Baltic Porters. I'm one of those people. I really kind of like the unique licorice type flavors that come out of them. They're usually a little bit smokier. They're usually a little bit more, I guess, not roastier, but maybe just a touch more bitter than a regular porter. But in the old days they used to smoke the malts. Sometimes it would be good because it would kind of mask all the imperfections of the beers. But the one that I'm reviewing for you today, as I said, is the Surly Smoke. Now I have been drinking a little bit of this. It has a waxed top, so I wanted to make sure I got that off and didn't want to bore you with trying to cut that off, but also wanted to make sure it was at the right temperature before we started to tape this. So with that said, let me go ahead and take a look at the color, which is obviously that really dark brown. I mean, it's virtually black, let's just be honest. There's not a ton of head on here. This one only clocks in about 8.2%, but I would expect maybe just a little bit more head on this. Some of the Ulfabrickens and the Beer Here Pumpernickel Porters, those really tend to get a lot more head on them. So, but really not that big of a deal. Really, kind of a, I guess, traditional looking beer, but I'm going to go ahead and smell it now. What's really nice about this one right off the bat is that I like a good smoked beer, but I'm not going to lie, I think sometimes people smoke them a little bit too much, where it's all you taste is smoke. It's like those guys that are like, hey man, I make the hottest buffalo wings in the world. Well, what's the point, dude? I can't taste the chicken. Well, that's how I feel about smoked porters, smoked beers in general. I think the smoke should be subtle. I think the smoke should be a part of the group. I don't think it should be the bully of the group. I think you should be able to taste other things or smell other things as well. Now with this one, again, I get a little bit of the smoke. It does have sort of a raisin quality. There's a little bit of chocolate, not a whole lot. The roastiness really kind of gives you the thought of maybe coffee. Now I'm not talking, like espresso coffee or really strong Sumatra coffee. I'm talking just your regular run-of-the-mill coffee. So the flavor, the aroma is in there, but it's just not extremely intense. So on the nose, I would say this one is probably the best I've had of this week, simply because everything just melds together so perfectly. So let's go ahead and push it on down the back of my throat. So right off the bat, the first two things that I taste, A, are the smokiness, but B, I get a lot of the oak from the wood that they age these in. So they go ahead and they smoke the malts, they make the beer, and then they put these in oak barrels for, they say on their website several months, so I'm imagining it's probably 3 to 6 months. But I really get that good oakiness. Now along with that oakiness, I'm not getting that vanilla quality that you might sometimes get. I do get a bit of licorice, not a whole lot, and I don't know if you're noticing a trend with what I'm saying. There's not a lot of this, there's not a lot of that, but you can get a sense that it's all in there. And so when you talk about beers and you talk about balance, I think balance is something that's not, highly overlooked, but I think a lot of people, maybe like those extremes. They like something to be very smoky, or they like something to be extremely hoppy, this guy. But in this case, I think it really does the beer justice to have everything, right on the same level. So I think in the end, this is a really successful beer for me. Of the three that I've had this week, I would say this one and the Alaskan Smoked Porter are probably the most similar. They really have that porter flavor. I think the O'Fallon that I reviewed on Monday really tasted more like, like if you can imagine juice coming out of crispy bacon. That's kind of what that one tastes like. But this one really tastes more like a porter to me, and that's really what I'm looking for. So, excellent beer, Surly. Can't wait to get a hold of some of your darkness. Hopefully I can make it up this year and buy 6 or 10 bottles of that, because I know it sells quick and I've heard a lot of good things about it, but I really like this beer a lot. I'm going to go ahead and score this one about a 95. I think I really, really appreciate everything about it. And anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up for now. But I hope you've enjoyed this week. It's the first time I've done a consecutive set of beers, like a specific style. I hope you guys will come back next week. I've got some really good hop beers that I'm going to share. I'm going to call it Hop Week, where I'm just going to dedicate all 3 beers that I review to hops. I'll have some IPAs, some Imperial IPAs in there, but should be a really good time. So, well, anyway, guys, thanks a lot for coming back. Hope you enjoyed this week of smoked beers. My name is Mark Starr. We'll see you later. Cheers. Woo! Smoky. Smoky.